Giotto Imaging Supplies coming to you with actually something quite a bit different. This is sort of a dye sublimation tutorial video, but what we're really here to talk to you about today is our new premium dye sublimation paper. Now here at Giotto, we're always testing. We're always trying to innovate and make sure that we are at the cutting edge and providing the best products possible. And you know, there's a lot out there. So when this particular paper, a partner of ours sent it and, you know, said, hey, what do you think? I was excited to try it, but I'll be honest. I always thought that dye sublimation paper, one to the next, really made almost no difference whatsoever. And so I've been proven wrong. This new premium paper is the best release paper I have ever used, and its results really interesting, particularly on those jobs that are problem jobs. Jobs where you're just not getting the photo imaging quality, the vividness, the brightness that you want out of it. What kind of jobs am I talking about? Well, you guys who do a lot of enamel know what I'm talking about. People who do frosted glass, boy oh boy, you know what I'm talking about. And even, you know, a lot of different textiles, depending on the thread quality, can give you trouble, especially if there is some kind of pigment already built in to the fabric, right? Well, let's experiment with some of that and get a chance to see how this paper can help you power through problem jobs and get the most vivid images out of your normal jobs. Let's get down to the table and get started. So the first thing I really want to point out about this paper that's really different and really it's a little added touch that I love. On the back, you can see the branding. Now, why is that important? Well, for a lot of you, which way you put your paper into your printer really matters, especially if it's, you know, for us SG users, Sawgrass. Yeah, you got to put your paper in upside down, and you always know you've got it right when you've got the branding facing up. I actually really love that. As well, you'll notice that this paper actually seems a little bit darker than the white of our other paper. I'm not sure what difference that actually makes, but it is worth noting. All right, so our first demonstration for the day. We're going to do a front and back on our cork tote. Now, you're probably thinking, but Michael, you've used the regular paper on this cork tote before and it's looked great. And you're right, it comes out good, but we can do better. So, as always, for safety, I pull this out so that I don't burn myself as I'm trying to do my setup. Gosh, I can't count the number of times I've done that on my press at home, which does not have a pull-out drawer. This is Peekaboo, one of my wife's pieces, oladesign.ca if you want to check it out. This is her best-selling piece, which means it's got to be right. Well, this is going to be with the old paper. Here we go. It's not the old paper, it's the standard. All right, same as always, not pressing the cork. Get myself up at 375 for 75 seconds. Click that in. Didn't check the pressure ahead of time, but I do know that the last person who used this was actually using DTF, which means the pressure is really high. So let's see if that's enough. Oh, that's still too much. That'll do it. So we'll see in about 60, 70 seconds.
Yeah, we should definitely call it the standard or the regular paper. Or
the standard. Regular doesn't sound complimentary. Standard sounds like it sets the standard.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's the standard. And it's good. It is actually good paper. There are jobs I am using it for at home where I actually find that the new high release paper, it almost like oversaturates. It's almost too much, right? And I don't want to do that. So here she goes. Woo! Get that off as fast as I can, because I definitely don't want to get any ghosting. And I mean, look at that. That looks great. I'm really quite happy with it. Fantastic. Now let's try the other side. Oh, it's such a dream. No, so nice to be able to just pull it out. Love that. Make sure I don't get the cork. Now, here's the new image. And interestingly, on the page, it actually looks duller than on our standard paper. But we know it's ours because you can tell with the Paropy on the back. And gosh, do I like this, especially when I'm loading my printer. I love that I've got the Paropy on the back. That lets me know, oh, that's definitely the side that goes face up, so that when it prints through my sawgrass, it comes out properly. All right, let's do this. So, all the settings were the same. As I said, I was actually quite happy with the result I got from the standard paper. Let's see what happens with our new high release. Whoop. See you in 70 seconds. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. There she pops. Woo, get her off as quick as I possibly can so I don't ghost. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So that is the new saturation level from our paper. That is the new high release paper. That's the old. Take a look. How do I show you both at the same time? Wow, I can't believe the difference. It looks so great. So great, so bright, so vivid. Look at that difference. Love it. Okay, and where is the paper? Well, there it is. And look how little is left on there. I'll go and get the other paper so I can show you a side-by-side. Oh, wow. Same exact print settings, but on the side-by-side, you can see one's got so much ink left and the other one high release. And you can really see where that ink went as you get a bolder, darker, more saturated image. Oh yeah, love it. Okay, let's go through and do a bunch of different substrates so that we can get a real example. Now this is probably going to be more of a fire at you where I'm talking to you less and you're just seeing bang results. But hey, we'll go fast and speed through it. All right, for our next experiment, we're going to use a simple placemat. And a couple of things about this that are a little different than our previous test. The first is this is a lot less even in terms of the thread. There's a little bit more bounce to the thread. It's also more pigmented. It's darker. And we're going to try that darker pigment along with, hey, what's that? Oh, it's a wedding photo of a friend of mine. I was very proud to be able to stand next to him on his special day. And that's me, and we shared the best man duties with Cody there. Yeah, it was a great day. Great day. And this is my favorite photo of it. So, here we go. We're going to do them together at once, so we get a genuine side-by-side. Once again, Paropy paper. Just a bit more pressure for this. There we go. See you in about 60 seconds. All right. Woo! All righty. Okay. So, in a side-by-side, you can see which one is darker, which one is richer and bolder colors. This one kind of feels faded out, especially when we look at the whites and trying to catch shading into the whites, the lighter skin tones. Look where the skin tones are in there, the white. Look at the difference, how you can see the shading in the white. Oh yeah. And the trees look darker, bolder, greener. Yep, I love it. And when we go back here, wow, what a release difference. Unreal. Unreal. There's your Paropy Premium. Yeah, I really like it. I really like it. Definitely would take those results over these any day. For something like this, for sure. All right, let's try the next one. All right, for our next substrate, we're going to try a waffle towel, one of those kitchen waffle towels. Again, wow on the texture of our substrate, of our textile, right? And in addition to that, we're going to bring that temperature up and get a chance to see how it does at higher temperatures. All right, so top sheet in. I'm going to do a quick pre-press while I'm waiting for it to heat up. Also make sure that I've got my pressure right. I might actually up that pressure just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Now, why pre-press? Well, it does sort of level out the texture a little bit to do that. And it also really makes sure that there's no creasing, no issues in the way, so that you're going to be giving yourself the best chance to succeed right off the bat. So again, we're going to be trying a photoreal image because that's the hardest thing to do on a textured surface like this. Same settings as always for these. Basically, you could use a t-shirt setting, or you could use something like the canvas tote bag setting. Either way, it's a textile. Let's get started. We're up to 393 for 55. Yeah, let's just bring it in at 395. For 55 seconds. All right, let's center it down. Put our top sheet over to protect. Slide it in. There we go. In about 50 seconds from now, we'll have our first result. So it doesn't move too much and then ghost on me. All right. So again, you can see the waffle texturing and you can see the release on this paper. This is our standard paper. It's, like I said, it's a good paper. And honestly, not a bad result at all. But let's see what happens side by side with our new paper. So to keep it even, we'll give it a pre-press. There we go. That was quick. Wow. Okay. Try and put that side by side. Line it up the best we can. Not that it matters much. This is just for a demo. Let's throw it in there. Give it the same amount of time. See you in another 50 seconds. For funsies, let's start by looking at the release paper. Old paper. Not old paper, standard paper. And this is our premium high release. For me, it's going to be old paper. I'm going to be using the premium high release a lot. Look at that. All right, let's see what the results are on our towel. Oh, wow. Can really see the difference. Look at the greens. Unreal. Look at the greens. Now that's not fair to look at this. That got pressed twice, so that's a little faded. extra faded because it got pressed twice. But the rest of it, when we go to the bride and groom, I guess that's the most important when we look at the bride and groom. She's just so much clearer. His smile's bigger. The skin tones are better. Yeah, I would definitely take that. The greens especially. Yep, happy with that. Let's move on and see what else we can try. Check the pressure, because that's going to be too much. Okay. For our next trick, we're going to be trying some ceramic car coasters. These are just mini coasters that go inside the little holders for your coffee in your car. Yeah, coasters for in there. They're made of ceramic. They're perfect examples for this. And I've just done a couple of Oilers jerseys since they're my best bet for winning the Stanley Cup this year. All right, here we go. It's going to be about 300 seconds, so we'll see you then. Here we go. Now, I'm honestly not expecting there to be that big a difference one to the other. Let's take a look. Woo! Hot, hot, hot! Woo! Okay. So which one is that? Ah, that's our standard. And it looks good. Go oil. Let's try this one and see if we're any better. Woo! Hot, hot, hot! Hot, hot, hot! Woo! Okay. So in the side by side, you can see that there's still a little less on the new. Yep. But not that significant a difference. Let's see how it looks. Well, I mean, if I'm looking at them side by side, I'd say, yeah, this one's a little darker, a little richer for sure. But yeah, I would say that's darker and richer and does have a slightly more solid look to it. But the difference is negligible to the average eye. I would say your customers will never know the difference one way or the other. So this is one of those times when using the standard paper probably makes more sense. All right, let's move on to the next one. And I'm really excited about the neoprene example. So I'll tell you why in just a minute. 360 for 120. So why on earth would I be excited about the neoprene example? Well, neoprene is one of those materials that often bleeds, where it's really hard to get nice, clear, sharp edges on. And so while you often can get pretty decent color and decent color saturation, getting those fine details exactly where you want them or how you'd like them to come out tends to be challenging. So what I've done, I've chosen a straight line drawing. I don't know if it's an AI image or not. I'm not going to care about that for this point. But what I do like about it is that the detail is high and the lines are very thin. There's not even a lot of color. It's mostly black and white. So in those cases where it bleeds, we're really going to see it. So that's why I'm excited about the neoprene example. If we can get really good detail on neoprene, color's not really been the issue, and we'll definitely get the color using the new premium. So let's see what we can do with a black and white image, or close to. It's a grayscale-ish image. All right, our press is almost ready. We've had to let it cool down a bit. I've secured these in place, same image, same settings, same printer. The only difference, premium and the standard papers. All right, let's set them up on the press. Oh yes. Yeah, we're going to need a little bit more pressure. Don't like changing the pressure while it's pressing. Sometimes it can create ghosting, but you do little adjustments, usually you get away with it. This thing's gonna pop. I've taped it into position, so I'm not worried about that paper flying off. Let's see what we got. Wow. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with the results of both of them. And I can't honestly tell very much. I can if I really, really look at it, but I honestly, for the most part, can't tell the difference. You can definitely see which one has more come off, but in the final result, again, this is an example of where the standard paper will probably do you just as well. You know, look at it now as it cools. This one is darker, isn't it? And maybe even a little richer. That's one of the things you always got to check it while it's after it's cooled. And look at that. You really can actually tell the difference. Look at the face. Look at the roses down her arm. Oh yeah, for sure, that's a little bit better. Huh. Looks like the new paper wins on that matchup. Now this last one is really the most important. HD panels. I've got some examples here that I'm going to be using of both white coat and just straight silverback. Silverback is particularly challenging for a lot of different papers and inks, a lot of different sublimators out there. They're finding that they just don't get the vibrance as they fight through the power of the silver. Silver is actually a really bright, bold color, so you usually need something strong and solid to battle against it when you're sublimating to it. So we're going to try those and see if we get better results on the standard white HD and also with a silver metal panel. And the metal panel we're using is going to be our business card. I actually love these. I've been making my own business cards out of them using the new paper because I just find that the results are definitely better. I do know who's going to win on this one. All right. Presses up to speed. Let's do the silver first because this is the one that's going to surprise me, or at least I haven't tried it yet. All right, here we go. As always, face down. Whoops. So that you have your image side up. Why do I do that? Well, the metal distributes the heat evenly. So it's best not to have that hot platen against your paper. Here we go. You'll see in about 50 seconds. It's amazing, eh? When the neoprene cooled, all of a sudden you could really tell the difference. Here we go. All right, now as I've mentioned, I already have done this one before. So I know how the results are going to turn out. But honestly, I pick a good piece for it. You can see one of my wife's pieces shining through. Looks quite good. Yep, that standard paper did a good job there. And if we look, the release on that isn't too bad. All right, here's the high release. Look at that release. Let's do a side by side again. There's just, the comparison is, well, it really speaks for itself. And in the final results, even though I'm quite happy with the first, holy smokes, the second just comes out so much stronger. Might be hard to pick up on the camera here, but please take my word for it. Holy smokes, there's a difference. All right, let's find out how the HD panels do. Standard white Same settings, everything's going to be the same, so let's just keep the good times rolling. "55 seconds and we'll see you then." All right. Let's see what we've got. This is the standard paper. Woo! Nice release on that. Pretty decent image. Oh. Woo. Once again, nice release. Well, even better release. You can really see the difference in the release. Take a look at that mountain. And when we look at the final results, well, they're pretty close. I would definitely say you're getting richer and darker blues out of this. The yellows are a little bit better, but wow, pretty close. Pretty good. So something like HD panels, if again you're having issues, if you're looking for brighter, more vivid colors, if you want to bring the highest of the high end, yes, I think you'll definitely do better with the new premium paper. But the difference is, at least on the scale that I'm doing here, pretty subtle. So standard paper will probably still do the trick. All right, so we're going to try this image first. This is one of my wife's images, Fearless it's called. And we're just going to do a quick side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to put the new paper on one side, just like so. And then I'm going to put our same settings, same everything, image on the other side, like so. And then we're going to pop it in a mug press, done at the exact same time, and get a chance to see how this works. We'll see you just as soon as I finish taping. All right, let's take her over to the press. All right, so now we're back at the press. We're going to use my secret sauce recipe of 370 degrees for 220 seconds. Now, interesting why I chose this mug. This mug is one of our marbleized mugs. Now, I love these mugs, and they do image beautifully, but there is a challenge. And the challenge is that the marbling will occasionally find its way almost interfering with the image. It's like you've got too much going on, it becomes too busy. You need something that is going to be strong enough that it's actually going to print over that and not end up allowing that gray marbling to interfere with your image. This is one of the advantages of this particular kind of paper. So as you can see, I've got the Paropy, the new premium on one side, and this is actually our old paper. So I'm not saying that this is bad, and it's actually not. But boy, oh boy, we're going to see a difference here. Just wait and see. 370 for 220. Give it a try, shall we? Here we go. Going to be a little over 200 seconds. We'll see you then. So 200 seconds or so has passed. We pull her on out. Let's take a look and see what we've got. Let's reveal the standard side first. That feels like the fun thing to do, right? Actually, not upset with that at all. That looks pretty good. But if we go to the other side, How much more vibrant is that? Probably pretty hard to pick up on the camera, but what isn't as hard to pick up on the camera will be the release. Holy smokes, take a look at how much more ink is left on this versus that. Right? Well, it does show up in the final results. And I'm not saying that our old paper isn't good. In fact, we're still going to carry it on my recommendation. It is excellent, and for a lot of jobs, it's going to do the trick. But this new high release premium paper, I do love the results. And it just is deeper, more vibrant, more saturated. All right, let's move on to the next example. For our next demonstration, I'm not going to do a side-by-side, actually mostly because I only have one of these enamel mugs lying around, but we are going to show how to do an enamel mug with the new paper. And I'm choosing a really challenging image. I'm actually using a photorealistic image. So it's going to be one of those really vibrant things that normally you would put like on an HD panel. Look at how beautiful we're going to get this on enamel. Once again, we're using my secret sauce recipe. This is going to be 355 for 9 minutes in an oven. And I'm using one of our handy dandy Hicks wraps here to come up, lock it into place. And that gives us a nice full wrap around with pressure, but not too much. And we'll just slip that into the oven as soon as it's all charged up. So it's going to take a few minutes to heat up. As soon as it's ready, we'll see you then. Okay. So she's beeping at us. It means it's time to get started. Here we go. Slip it in, close it up. And we'll be back in about 9 minutes. I'll be preparing some other things in the meantime. We'll see you then. All right, so we've just had the buzzer go off. Of course, I was busy trying to do something else. But here we go. Woo! That's going to be warm. Now, actually, I think I'm going to quickly change this to my heavy duty. That keeps my hand for sure safe. And then we'll open this up. Give that a second to cool because I want to use it again. Let's just peel the image off. Now, it is hard to get photoreal images onto an enamel mug and really make it stick, make it look great. And there, with this, you can. I am so pleased with that. Almost as good quality as you might expect out of an HD panel. All right. And once again, you can see the release. Almost nothing left on there. Okay. So let's move on to yet another example. All right, so this one's a bit of a test. I've never actually even tried to do these before, so we're going to give them a shot. I really, really love these ceramic enamel combination mugs, but they do have speckling and they are quite thick. So I'm going to try them in the oven and see whether or not I can't get decent results, and if I get better results, using the new paper. All right, let's give it a try. First, we'll get that up. We're going to do these one at a time in the hopes that my directions are going to be proper first and that we get any kind of decent results. And if we do, we'll use the exact same method to put the second one in. We'll see you in, looks like about 8 minutes. Okay, so it looks like we're ready. Timer's up. Pull it out. Woo! And it is hot. But gotta love these Hicks wraps. Oh, I usually do love them. Come on now. These gloves do make it a little, there we go. Let's peel that off. See what we get. Well, I'm not super happy with that. That one looks all right. Close. Look at the paper. And it just doesn't feel like I got the release on it. Was that in for long enough? I wonder. Doesn't seem like the paper's burnt. But I think to show off our new paper, I'm actually going to set it in at exactly the same amount of time. And you know what? Even if it doesn't turn out perfect, at least we'll be able to see the difference. So let's try it like that. I've got it all set up and ready to go. We'll just get it to warm up, and when it's ready, we'll pop it in. Okay, so now we're going to pop in that second one. These are the exact same settings as before. See you in 8 minutes, and we'll see if we can get some better results out of our new paper. All right, moment of truth. I really have no idea how this is going to turn out. Woo! Hot, hot, hot. All right. This glove is not going to be enough, so we'll go ahead and throw on my monster here. All right, let's crack this open. Woo! And how did we get? Well, I'm still not crazy about the results. If we come over there. Yeah. So, am I perfectly happy with those results? Ow, ow, ow. Not really, honestly. Almost there. But wow. In a side-by-side, did it help me power through? Yes, it did. And that's kind of what the point of this paper is. It helps you power through the harder jobs. All right, let's move on to something else. I'm going to have to work on my recipe for that. I'm not sure I'm happy with it yet, but I'm getting closer, especially with my new paper. All right, so what have we learned today about the new premium paper? Well, for a lot of jobs, it's basically going to be the same as the standard paper, or at least the difference is going to be the kind of difference that only you're going to be able to tell, and in most cases your customers won't. However, for the highest of the high end, and when you need to power through the challenging jobs like low thread count or things like that, this paper is going to yield brighter, more vibrant, more saturated results every single time. And for those problem jobs, man, does that make a difference. So, thank you for joining us. This has been Michael with Giotto Imaging Supplies. Once again, glad you joined us. Let's try again next time with your comments. Let us know, what kind of jobs do you have the most trouble with? What would you like us to sublimate next? And what do you think of the content here? If you like this content, please subscribe and like. We could always appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Michael. Be well.